with what you taught me while I have a heartbeat. Even ripped apart the will that I've got sin. Bring the bell! Now we gotta throw hands. Oh, bring the bell! Even standing no chance. Bring the bell! Talk like you will, but you don't know what truth is. What's going on, DSG? It's your boy DarrnellBradley back at y'all with another video. And today we got why you wish you could sleep like a platypus. Was it Larry the Platypus? That guy. And not an elephant. We back on some casual Geographic. Just dropped yesterday. Today, as far as when I'm recording. Ooh, that's. I don't know if I could drink that on the thing without getting it. I don't know. I ain't trying to freaking monetization issues. I'm sure this video is gonna get limited to for no reason, but we here, man. You know what I'm saying? Get some comedy, get some learning. You know what I'm saying? It's like the fun Animal Planet over here, man. Be sure to like, be sure to subscribe, follow me on all that there social media. We ain't this without any further ado. 3, 2, 1, click. I'm still asleep. It's so serene. My walrus is asleep. So serene. Oh wow. I don't know if that's gonna get me copywritten for that, but yo, hey, on God, like that would probably be very cool to see. You know what I'm saying? Just like it'd be very daunting. Like if for whatever reason it would scare me, even if I knew I wasn't in any immediate danger. If I was just like exploring underwater, which I would never be, and I seen that, I'd be like, it's so majestic, and I'm very terrified. I wanna leave, but I wanna stay. I don't know what's happening here.
So I was thinking about it, right? And if you live in the United States, you have an estimated 77.3 years before you're expected to lease a casket, and we spend a third of that sleeping. Or at least we're supposed to. Saying we're supposed to get 8 hours of sleep a day is like telling New Jersey drivers there's a speed limit. Or telling people that the serving size for Chips Ahoy is 2 cookies. It's more of a suggestion, and no one in their right mind looks at this and stops themselves at 2. But that still adds up to well over 20 years that we spend lying in a dress rehearsal for death. It's to the point where you gotta wonder.
Yo, this man's comparisons are on point. Can we just talk about that for a minute? Like, yo, it's been that much time in a dress rehearsal for death. Come on.
Still adds up to well over 20 years that we spend lying in a dress rehearsal for death. It's to the point where you gotta wonder just how much we would get done if we evolved past the need for sleep. I mean, just look at dolphins. They didn't have a choice. Because unlike us, dolphins don't breathe involuntarily. Every breath they take is a choice. Which is good, because when your home addresses the ocean, yet you breathe air for a living, having that reflex at the wrong time is a fast track to getting flatlined. Alternatively, the problem with having to consciously choose to breathe is going unconscious once means going unconscious full time. But the trick that dolphins and, well, cetaceans in general use is that they only rest one half of their brain at a time and just switch off between the two. And with the right half of the brain being—
I had heard that about whales, something about like they sleep with one eye open, but I guess that's what like that means. So yeah, okay, all right. See, learning stuff.
Is that they only rest one half of their brain at a time and just switch off between the two. And with the right half of the brain being responsible for the left side of the body and vice versa, dolphins literally sleep with one eye open, with that eye being on the same side as the half of the brain being rested. And it's funny, because dolphins evolved from a land animal, meaning they must have seen something so crucial on land that they spent the rest of their existence evolving to never go back. That's not the only sleep superpower cetaceans have that we don't. Dolphins and humans are actually a lot alike, and one of the child-friendly, safer guidelines ways is that when a dolphin decides to have a baby, it basically sacrifices any sleep for the near future. And that's because baby dolphins don't sleep for the entire first month of their lives, which means, by extension, neither do their mothers. And it's not like they can just use an iPad to negotiate a commercial break's worth of sleep. Now, 24 hours of non-stop movement in an
iPad to negotiate a yo, hey, we talking about animals. Don't speak them human facts, bruh. Don't speak them human facts.
You can just use an iPad to negotiate a commercial break's worth of sleep. Now, 24 hours of non-stop movement in an ocean where leaving your child unsupervised for even a second can turn you from mother to morning real quick. It's not for no reason. Constantly being on the move lowers the baby's chance of getting perma-slept by predators. And in the cold, uncaring void of the ocean, perpetual motion helps keep them warm just long enough for their blubber to come in. It's great for the dolphin calves, but it means their mothers can go an entire calendar month without a wink of sleep. It's crazy because for us, driving while being awake for 24 hours straight is like driving boozed up under the influence. After 2 days, your immune system gets nerfed, so does your reaction time and even your decision making. And after 3 days, you'd be chilling with your paralysis demon, since that's when you can expect to start having hallucinations.
Yo, on the hallucinations part, that stuff, they don't even take me 3 days, bruh. If I'm just overtired, I can catch those like probably after 24 hours, and I bet not be driving.
Like literally, I've seen like for whatever reason I'm driving a whole chunk of road like a car-sized graveyard just in front of me, and I almost swerved it, bro. Like I used to do stagehand stuff, and I swear to God, bro, I saw one of the guys I work with in the middle of the road rigging some crap, bro. Like it's not okay. Get your sleep. Get your sleep. I just get it. All right.
The longest a person ever stayed awake that we know of was in an experiment for 264 hours and some change. Just over 11 days. You'll probably never see that record get broken since it would likely cost many lives in the process. Especially since at some point you'd go into microsleep, where your body pretty much just forces your brain to go offline for up to 30 seconds at a time. It sounds like no big deal during class or at work, but get hit with microsleep while driving, swimming, or flying a plane, and you'll see firsthand just how broken real-life RNG can be. So yeah, go on a bender with a dolphin and you'll tap out long before he does. Ironically, dolphins normally sleep just as much as humans do. Technically. On average, dolphins get the same 8 hours of sleep we do, except when they do it, it's when the two halves of their brain rest in shifts that add up to 4 hours each. And honestly, I just feel like we could get a whole lot more done if we rested only half of our brain at a time. Or all that extra time means we just speedrun the destruction of humanity, but one way or another, we'd be more productive. Productive is a word koalas never use, mostly because koalas can't speak English, but also because
This Negro. This is a word koalas never use because they don't. Just gonna hit us with some obviousness just to make us laugh. I love this channel. Let's go.
productive is a word koalas never use, mostly because koalas can't speak English, but also because the plush bear of the outback catches more winks than any other mammal. If you ever spend a day in a life with a koala, 18 to 20 of those hours would be spent waiting for it to reboot back up again. And the reason is because the koala's defining personality trait is eating a plant that has made it abundantly clear it's not meant to be eaten. Not only is eucalyptus toxic, it's so nutrient deficient that koalas might honestly be better off eating dirt.
Dang.
Koalas eat dirt. Nutrient deficient that koalas might honestly be better off eating dirt. Koalas eat dirt.
I'm sorry, his comedy's on one. The koala's main diet is eucalyptus gum, leaves, as well as smaller amounts of eucalyptus flowers, buds, stems, and bark. Koalas are also occasionally seen eating foods that are from other types of tree and plant, such as casuarina, melaleuca, and tea tree. All right. All koalas also eat dirt. Yep, there you go, right there. Which is thought to contain essential dietary trace elements to keep them healthy, as well as good bacteria for their gut health. Okay. Says cool. Gobble all this up. Sleep for my life. Got it.
Nutrient deficient that koalas might honestly be better off eating dirt. Koalas eat dirt. That choice in diet is why koalas often cosplay as a corpse for over 3/4 of its life. The eucalyptus leaves offer so little and take so much energy to digest that most of a koala's life happens when it's not even conscious for it. And the time they don't spend in a food coma is spent eating, screaming, and spreading chlamydia. Or eating their mother's green fecal pap paste, so they can get the bacteria needed to digest eucalyptus in the first place. Because if there isn't a hell, there's definitely koala reincarnation. It's pretty much the same situation with sloths, eating nothing but leaves and getting almost the same nothing back. Which is why the sloth can knock out for a healthy 16 hours a day. Or at least that's what we thought. You see, the thing is, most of what we thought we knew about sloths came from the ones in captivity. As in the ones who live life on recruit difficulty and can afford to sleep like it. Sloths in the wild though, they get about a good 8 to 9 hours of shut-eye max. Because in the wild, you have to get your own food while also avoiding becoming food. The reason
Can't mess it. Yeah, it's different. That captivity life is there. Ops out there. You know what I'm saying? Saw that big old bird. Nobody want to deal with that. Could you imagine as a human having a natural predator? Like, obviously, if you take your bum behind out into the middle of Africa, Australia, and you just out there, you're gonna find out real quick. But I'm just talking in the general sense. Like, could you just imagine in our everyday lives, no matter where we're at, imagine if dragons were a thing, bruh. You would know, like, the worst way to go out by a dragon. It wouldn't even be by eating you. It wouldn't even be by breathing fire on you. Nobody wants to get hit with big old dragon dookie. You don't want to go out like that. I need to see that, and I don't need to see that. But like in a movie with dragons, like somebody need to take that hit just so that people know that in these mythological realms, that's a possibility. They up there flying around. Sometimes they ain't hungry and they might have just ate and they gonna drop a deuce. That hit you, you out. That's gone. You done. Like, don't nobody, like, how your family supposed to explain that? How your friends supposed to explain that? I just say he went out fighting a dragon. That's all I could do. That's all I could do. Couldn't bring myself to it.
The reason we thought they were lazier than they actually are is because even when they're awake, they actively try to move as little as possible. Because sloths have the slowest metabolism of any mammal while also only eating lettuce for a living, they're really stingy on what they choose to waste calories on. How stingy, you ask? If a baby sloth loses his grip and falls to the forest floor, you can pretty much flip a coin on whether the mother spends the energy getting her only child back or just decides she'd rather start over. But yeah, despite its name, sloths don't sleep nearly as much as we thought. In fact, you might not even know, but their cousins sleep almost twice as much as they do. The sloth's close relative, the armadillo, can doze off for an average of 16 hours a day.
Alright, but like, why is it seizing though? You know, is that how it sleeps? That's a violent sleep. It's a very, very, very aggressive.
How sloths ended up being the ones that got named after a whole sin is because when armadillos go to sleep, it's usually underground where we can't see them. It's also because most dillos are crepuscular, meaning they only come out early in the morning or right at dusk. And you know what? They're not the only members of the family that can outsloth a sloth. Giant anteaters are also close cousins of armadillos and sloths, and they can turn in for a good 15 to 16 hours a day. And just like the sloth, giant anteaters also have molasses for metabolism, and they go into pretty much the animal version of power save mode called torpor. Don't worry, we're gonna come back to that, but you peep how the sloth's name got it beef with the Bible when two of its cousins are literally more of a sloth than
Sloth's name gotta be. Yo, this man needs to stand up. I swear to God, he needs a stand-up comedy show with this content, just educational comedy, bruh. Like, he kills this.
it is. So we talked about some of the animals that sleep the longest, but what about the one that sleeps the deepest? You've probably been taught that the deepest stage of sleep is REM sleep, short for rapid eye movement. Named after the fact that along with muscle twitching and irregular brain activity, the hallmark of REM sleep is the fluttering of the eyes with the eyelids still closed. Pretty much every land animal gets hit with the REM at some point, but there's one mammal that spends more time in this stage than any other animal. And I'm willing to bet nobody watching this will guess what it is. Seriously, I'll put money on it.
I would not know. I wouldn't. He got the dog sitting there in front of the screen. So I want to say the dog just because I feel like he would play our souls like that. But, yeah, no, I can't call it.
Or maybe you will if you watch this show. Because when
The platypus. Okay. Yeah, platypus title. Okay. All right. That should have hit me. That should have hit me a whole lot sooner just because of the title of the thing. And he hasn't quite gone over that animal yet, so that's my bad.
the talking Dorito says he's a platypus.
Talking Dorito.
He wasn't that far off base. The duckbill flex of nature goes out like a light for an estimated 14 hours a day, which makes it just another animal that's closer to being a sin than the animal that actually got verbally tattooed as one. Honestly, the deeper I go into this, the more I'm realizing we owe sloths an apology. And a name change. But not only do platypus spend more time offline than on, in experiments, the REM stage of sleep for them lasted anywhere from 5.5 to 8 hours. More than we've seen in any animal. Just for your reference, if you slept 8 hours last night, probably about 90 minutes of that was REM, maybe 2 hours if you were overachieving. And platypus and REM have the same symptoms we do, the random twitching, the brain activity despite their body pretty much having a parking brake on it, and of course, the eyes moving. The only difference is, for us, not all, but most dreams happen during the REM stage. But since studies show that platypus don't get the same activity in the forebrain while sleeping that we do, it's likely that this goose rabbit didn't evolve enough to have dreams.
This goose rabbit. Oh, what now? Why is it a goose rabbit? Why is it a goose? Why are you dissing it? What's with the disrespect? Oh, goose rabbit. Oh, I'm gonna say that to somebody. That's me. You call me a goose rabbit, you're gonna have to fight. Don't call me something that I can't readily identify.
Activity in the forebrain while sleeping that we do, it's likely that this goose rabbit didn't evolve enough to have dreams. But you want to know who did? Well, you remember how I said virtually every land animal eventually falls into REM? There's a reason I didn't say only land. Not only does the octopus enter deep sleep, but we've seen them change color and skin texture almost as if they're trying to match the environment of whatever world they created in their head. So yeah, there's a good amount of evidence, mind you, scientific peer-reviewed evidence that octopi can dream. Or at least they try to. But they're also the polar opposite of reviewed evidence that octopi can dream. Or at least they try.
Yeah, Squidward is an octopus. Argue with your mother, not me. It's like Squidward hopes and dreams. Yeah, I think, well, okay, because Squidward, so he might be a squid. But yeah, the way that he looks would make more sense as an octopus, so yeah.
Try to. But they're also the polar opposite of the platypus. Because where God's Science Fair project can REM for an entire work shift, the 8-foots of the ocean spend less than a minute in that stage. Out of the 2 hours total an octopus might go AFK for in a day, less than 1% of that is in the REM stage they go viral for. Which actually makes a lot of sense since a sleeping color switching octopus might be fun for us, but in an ocean where everyone's looking for a calorie come up, flashing your neighbors in your sleep is a good way to ensure you never wake up. You never know when a shark might pull up and promote you to a full-time napper. That logic is why you'll often see prey animals sleep less than the ones that murk them for a living. That and the fact that if you're something like a zebra, you often don't have to go very far for food. Now compare that to a lion who can often go days and sometimes even a week without groceries, which is why you'll see a top predator like a lion call it in for 20 out of the 24 hours in a day. There's that, and sleeping during the hottest parts of the day and going food shopping when it's cooler and darker just makes more sense energy-wise. So pro tip, if you go to the zoo, make sure you go as soon as they open or as late as they'll let you, since that's when star attractions like lions are most active. Same with tigers, who are usually closed for business for the roughly same 18 to 20 hours as lions. And the animals that have to worry about getting packed up by predators like that are on the opposite end of the sleep spectrum. Like wild giraffes will sometimes run on only 30 minutes of sleep. And
They gotta wake that behind up, man. The ops is out. The ops is out. No. I don't care. I ain't had no water. I don't care. Drink your spit. We ain't got time for that. I mean, you can stay here. We ain't coming back for you. You gotta find us wherever we at. You know what I'm saying? You better know how to follow some tracks because we ain't coming back for that. You know who's out here. You know what time it is, time of the day it is. We don't belong out here right now. You know whose territory this is gonna be in a hot minute. You wanna get your sleep, go ahead, get your sleep. But we wanna live. So we gonna go ahead and get up and tire truck our behinds way over here.
like every other
Only sometimes, usually it's 3 to 4 hours for giraffes in the wild.
wild animal here, that's not all at once. They sleep for about 5 minutes at a time throughout the day, and all that still doesn't add up to a power nap for a person. An animal like a wild horse will take these little sleep breaks that add up to 3 hours in a day, and most of that's while standing. They only lay down for the REM. And since a horse laying down is a horse at its most vulnerable, many herds will develop their version of a neighborhood watch group, where one horse stands guard while the rest get theirs. The horses take turns keeping watch until everyone in the herd's gotten a chance to doze off, and I think that's pretty
nice.
cool.
Yeah.
Elephants earn the gold medal of sleep deprivation since those in the wild are often able to function off only an average of 2 hours of sleep a night. The rest of their time is spent either eating or looking for something to eat.
I'd say, I don't know why big elephant, like maybe like the baby ones, the big ones. Well, yeah, if it's laying down, it can still get got. But I mean, first bite, it's up. And then whatever predator, unless it's like a bazillion of them, like, you still just might get X'd out, bro. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like as far as like land prey, predators look at elephants like when they see an elephant. You know, like when you look in the fridge and you see something that look good and you like, that does look nice, but is there anything else in here? That's how I feel a predator would look at an elephant. Like, yeah, it look nice, it look really plentiful. Like, we eat off that for a minute, but like, I really don't feel like cooking. You feel me? All right, let's go.
Off only an average of 2 hours of sleep a night. The rest of their time is spent either eating or looking for something to eat. Now, if you were paying attention, you might have noticed something. That the bigger animals like elephants and giraffes sleep way less than the smaller animals we already talked about. And one reason might simply just be because plus-size animals just need to be awake long enough to eat more. Like elephants can put away 400 pounds of food a day. They're not doing that on koala timing. But that's not too hard when you're the world's heaviest vegan. But when you're a bear with an empty pantry, it's a lot different. And when there's less food around, some animals will make like a struggling college student and just have sleep for dinner. That sleep being hibernation. Except hibernation isn't like how I was taught in grade school. Like bears don't just peace out for the entire winter and just rise like the Undertaker come spring. Hibernation isn't sleep. It's torpor that lasts weeks, sometimes months. See, I told you we'd come back to that. And I wasn't kidding. It's like their version of a power save mode when the struggle gets too real outside. Their metabolism, heart rate, and even breathing all slow down as they live off whatever energy they were able to store up. And when I say they go on cruise control, I mean some bears can slow their heart rate down to less than 10 beats per minute. But once again, it's not sleep. A hibernating bear is still very much awake. Matter of fact, here's a plot twist. Bears aren't even true hibernators. Cause the legit hibernators, you know, the woodchucks, the bats, the squirrels, they pretty much just go a step above death, and coming out of that takes a lot of energy and effort. Bears, on the other hand, they might as well just be the insomniacs of hibernators. What that means is if you mess around and manage to find a bear in its version of power save mode, it can still react fast enough to make sure you don't live long enough to find out twice. As you can see here, this man crossed the border of F around and now finds himself smack in the middle of Find Out City. So even though this built-in low battery mode technically isn't sleep, one animal managed to buff this to the point where they can sleep for years. And it's a very different type of bear. The tardigrade, or as streets know it, the water bear. You probably already heard how weirdly stacked nature
Water bear, what the Hello Kitty is this?
type of bear. The tardigrade, or as this to the point where they can sleep for years. And battery mode technically isn't sleep. One animal managed to buff this to the point where they can sleep for years. And it's a very different type of bear. The tardigrade, or as streets know it, the water bear. You probably already heard how weirdly stacked nature made them. Their personality trait is being able to survive anything except the things in life that actively try to kill them. And you know, now that we're talking about it, that's actually always been my gripe with them. I'm supposed to just accept the fact that there's a moss pig that can survive frigid cold, boiling pools, enough radiation to retire Superman's family jewels, and the literal vacuum of space. Yet the same nematodes that nearly put SpongeBob in a shelter can pack them up like a blunt.
Tardigrades spend most of their time snacking on plants and bacteria. They have to be careful though, although tardigrades can survive extreme conditions, they still have predators. Nematodes, a kind of worm, amobas, and sometimes even other tardigrades will prey on tardigrades. Okay, so yeah, their stuff is specific ops, but the trade-off is they can survive anything that's not actively trying to kill them. Okay, I mean, if you gotta have a trade-off, I mean, hey. Stay out of the ops point of view.
Vacuum of space. Yet the same nematodes that nearly put SpongeBob in a shelter can pack them up like a blunt. But water bears do have one superpower. When life starts lifing a little too hard, water bears just slip into suspended animation. Basically, it's power save mode on steroids, and they can tank whatever the world throws at them without food or water for not years, but decades. They pretty much just shut down everything about them and just stay that way indefinitely. There was actually a time where a scientist found a water bear that got trapped in a sample of dried moss in a museum. All it took was a little water and the swamp hog came back to life after being stuck there for 120 years.
That is called immortality. I'm very sure there are science experiments going on whatever this thing is right now to unlock the fountain of youth to whatever it is, because listen, it cryogenicked itself. It did that. It said, you know how vampires do? They just go to sleep for like 1,000 years, wake up like, what's happening in this decade? That's this. This is gonna be what makes vampires. It's gonna start with whatever the water bear. Just so you know, my 2 cents.
So yeah, technically it's not sleep, and I am kind of cheating here, but when you can force quit out of life and not even die, you deserve to at least get mentioned. Even if the word swamp hog sounds like one of those things you should never Google. But that's gonna do it for this video. For more consistent content, be sure to check out my TikTok and Instagram as you wait for the next video. And if you'd like to support my channel beyond just subbing, my Patreon's also gonna be in the description. Also, a friendly reminder that I do have a book out, and that's also gonna be down there. But other than that, drink water, hug your mother, make sure you get some sleep. You kind of need that stuff, and you've definitely earned it. And I'ma see y'all in the next one.
Run. I love how he puts these little things like at the end of the videos. It's so cute. Oh, make it feel better. Oh, it's so nice. Yo, that was dope. That was very informative, and we watched that very informative here too. That was enjoyable. Found out, you know what I'm saying, some stuff about animals and how they can just force quit out of life, you know what I'm saying? Just kind of hit that turn off switch, pull the plug without actually pulling the plug, kind of like leaving it half out so there might be a spark fire, but you know they don't mind playing with fire like that, you know what I'm saying? About the freaking what was it? The on off sleep, the half brain sleep, that got me. And the I'm asleep, y'all stay up and watch, and then I'll stay up and watch, and then y'all sleep, you know what I'm saying? Like, he made things make sense as far as the world of the wild go and how things sleep, like koalas, platypuses, and sloths, like, and that little thing at the end there. Like, man, I'll tell you right now, my girlfriend wish she could get sleep like that. I ain't gonna hold you, but nah, very, very, very good, funny, informative. That's what it is over here. Be sure to like, be sure to subscribe, follow me on all that there social media, and I catch y'all next one, fam. Peace.